Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're at. Today we're going to continue on with reading the Quran, a chronological modern English interpretation by Jason Chris Houck. Let's go. Chapter 48, Surah 27, The Ants. Ta Sin. These are the verses of the Quran, an evident book, a guide and good news for the believers, those who pray and give to charity regularly, and are certain of the hereafter. For those who do not believe in the hereafter, we cause them to think that their works on earth are good, so they are bewildered. These are the people who will receive a grave penalty, and in the hereafter will lose the most. You have received the Quran from one who is wise and all-knowing. Remember Moses when he said to his family, "I see a distant fire, so I will go get information from them, or a coal to light our fire so we can warm up." But as he neared the fire, a voice told him, "Blessed are those in the fire and around it. Glory be to God, the Lord of the worlds." Moses, I am God, the mighty and wise. Throw down your staff. It started to move like a snake, so Moses retreated. Moses, messengers should not be afraid in my presence. But if they have done wrong and then did good deeds to compensate, they find I am often forgiving and most merciful. Now put your hand into your robe near your torso, and when you pull it out, it will be white, but won't hurt. Take these of the 9 signs to the Pharaoh and his people, for they are an evil lot. But when our signs were shown to them, they said it was only magic. They rejected the signs aloud in an unjust and arrogant manner, while their souls were actually convinced. See the fate of the wrongdoers. We gave knowledge to David and Solomon, and they both said, "Praise be to God who has granted us favor above what he gave many of his followers." Solomon was David's heir, and he said, "People, we have been taught the language of the birds and have been given all things in abundance, and this is a sign of God's grace." Before Solomon, his people were assembled, genies, humans, and birds. So Solomon had genies that followed him. When they came to a valley of ants, one of the ants said, "Fellow ants, get in your burrows so that Solomon and his armies don't crush you without knowing it." Solomon smiled, amused at the queen's speech, Queen Sheba, and said, "My lord, I am grateful for the favors you have given me and my parents, so that I may do righteous acts that are pleasing to you. I pray one day to be among your righteous servants." He reviewed the birds assembled and asked where the hoopoe bird was. "I will punish him severely or kill him if he doesn't have a good reason for his absence." Soon the hoopoe bird came to him saying, "I was gathering information you were not aware of in Sheba. I found a woman ruling over the people there, and she has provided them with abundance, and she sits on a magnificent throne. I found the people of Sheba worshiping the sun instead of God. Satan has made their activities seem right and has led them off the straight path. They are not righteous. They do not worship God, who reveals what is in heaven and earth and knows everyone's secrets. God is the Lord of the great throne, and there is no God but him. I will find out if you are telling the truth, hoopoe. Take this letter to them, and then move away and watch their reaction." The queen said, "My chieftains, I have been sent a noble letter from Solomon and his people. It says, 'In the name of God, most gracious and merciful, do not defy me and submit.'" Then she asked for advice from her chiefs so she could hear their opinions before responding. They advised her that Sheba was powerful and mighty, and that they awaited her decision. She stated, "When the kings enter a country, they devastate it and bring even the mightiest people low. That is what I expect now. So I am going to send him a present and hear from my ambassadors when they return." When the envoys arrived, Solomon said, "Are you trying to give me more wealth when everything that God has given me is better than what he has given you? They are more impressed by your gift. You are more impressed by your gift than I am. Go back to Sheba, for we will be coming with a power that you cannot resist. We will expel you from the land in disgrace, and you will be humbled." Solomon spoke to his chiefs. "Which of you can bring me Sheba's throne before they come to us and submit?" A cunning genie said, "I can bring it back before we end this council session, for I am very strong and you can trust me." Another, who had knowledge of the scripture, said, "I will bring it here in the twinkling of an eye." And the throne appeared in front of Solomon, and he said, "This was done by the grace of God to test me, to see if I am grateful or not. Those who are grateful receive gratitude for their own soul. Those who are ungrateful must realize that my Lord is bountiful and generous." Solomon ordered the throne to be transformed so that the queen of Sheba would not recognize it, so he could test her to see if she was rightly guided. Solomon asked her when she arrived if the throne in front of her was like hers. She replied, "It appears to be my throne. We were told of your power before we arrived, and we submit to you." She had been hindered from worshiping God by the God she was worshiping instead, and she came from a faithless people. Solomon asked her to enter the palace hall, and when she did, she thought it was a lake, so she lifted her skirts, uncovering her legs. Solomon said, "Your eyes deceive you. This is a floor of crystal slabs." She cried, "My lord, I have been unjust, and I submit alongside Solomon to the God, the Lord of the worlds." We sent the messenger Salih to the Thamud people, telling them to serve God, but they split into two quarreling factions. Salih said, "My people, why would you rather do evil instead of good? If you would just ask God for his forgiveness, you may receive his mercy." They replied, "We believe that you and your followers are a bad omen bringing us bad luck." Salih replied, "Your bad omens are from God, and he is testing you." In the city, there were 9 corrupt men that would not change. They said, "We swear an oath by God that we will secretly attack Salih and his people, and when they seek vengeance, we will all say it wasn't us, and they are liars. The evil men planned, but we plotted too, and they were not aware of us. In the end, they failed, and we destroyed them and their followers. Their houses were left in ruin because they were unjust. This is a sign for people who can understand it. We saved those from Thamud who were faithful and righteous. We sent Lot as a messenger to his people, and he asked them why they commit such indecent acts when they know it's wrong. Lot said, "Why would you lust after men instead of women? Are you that senseless?" His people simply said, "Drive out Lot and his followers from our city, for we want to be pure and clean." We spared Lot and his family, except for a wife we destined to be one of those remaining behind. Then we rained down a shower of brimstone, an evil rain for those who have been warned. Say, "Praise be to God and peace be upon his servants and chosen to be his messengers." Who is better, God or the false gods they associate with him? Is he not the best that created the heavens and earth? Who sends rains from the sky? With rain, we cause orchards and trees to grow beautifully, as it is not in your power to cause them to grow. Can there be another God besides God? No, those who believe that are unrighteous. Is he who made the earth firm and poured the rivers and set the mountains and created a barrier between the seas not the best? Can there be another God besides God? Most people don't know. Isn't he best that listens to souls crying to be cleansed of evil, and that made mankind the inheritors of the earth? Can there be another God besides God? Few pay any attention. Isn't he best who guides you on land and sea in the darkness, and who sends winds as messengers of his mercy? Can there be another God besides God? God is exalted high above those they associate him with. Isn't he best who caused the creation and then can repeat it and gives you nourishment from heaven and earth? Can there be another God besides God? Show us your proof if you are truthful. Say, no one in heaven or on earth except God knows the future or when the judgment day will come. No one knows about the hereafter. They doubt it because they cannot see it. When the unbelievers say, we doubt that when we become dust like our fathers, we shall be raised from the dead. We and our forefathers were promised this before, but it's just an ancient fable. Say unto them, travel around and look at the end that came to the sinners. But don't grieve for them, nor let their plots against you bring you grief. They will also say, tell us when this promise will occur if you are not a liar. Tell them, if you want to see Judgment Day sooner, it may not be far off. Your Lord is gracious to mankind, even though most of them are ungrateful. Your Lord knows everything they say and the secrets they keep. Everything that occurs in heaven and on earth is recorded clearly. The Quran explains to the children of Israel most of the ideas that they disagree upon, and it is a guide and mercy for the believers. The Lord will judge who is just and unjust by his wisdom. He is mighty and all-knowing. Put your trust in God, for you are on the righteous path. You cannot make the dead listen, nor cause the deaf to hear your message when they turn from you. And you guide the blind from going astray. Only those who believe in our signs and will submit can hear you. On Judgment Day, when our promise is fulfilled against the unjust, we will have a beast of the earth speak to them, because mankind would not believe our signs. We will gather all the people from every nation that rejected our message and form them in groups. When each passes before God to be judged, he will ask, did you reject my revelations because you could not understand them, or for some other reason? And what did you do in life? And then the promise of judgment will be kept because of what they did wrong. They will not be able to speak. Can they not see that we created the night for them to rest? And in the day we gave them light? These are surely signs for anyone that is faithful. On the day the trumpet is sounded, everything will be terrified in heaven and on earth. And except for those God exempts, everyone will come to God in humility. You see the mountains that you think are firmly affixed to the earth. They are actually drifting like passing clouds. That is the work of God, who has made everything faultless. He is aware of everything you do. Those who do good will receive more in reward for those deeds and be safe from terror that day. But those who do evil will be flung face first into the flames. Are you to be rewarded for something you didn't do? I have been commanded to serve the Lord of this city, which is Mecca, who has made it a sacred place and is Lord of all things. I am commanded to be among the people that submit to God and commanded to recite the Quran. If anyone accepts guidance, they do it for their own souls, and if they go astray, say, I am only one of the messengers. All praise belongs to God. As soon he will reveal his signs, and you will recognize them. Your Lord is aware of all you do. Chapter 49, Surah 28, The Story. Ha, Sin, Mim. These are the verses of the scripture that make things clear. We recite for you some of the story of Moses and the Pharaoh for people who believe. Pharaoh the tyrant cast his people into factions, oppressing one tribe by killing its sons and not its women. He was an agent of corruption. We wish to be gracious to the tribe being oppressed and make them leaders, imams, and let them inherit the lands and to grant them power in the region, while making Pharaoh, Haman, and their followers see what they have been fearing. We sent a revelation to Moses' mother to suckle her infant, and when she felt fear for him, to cast him in the river and don't be afraid or grieve, for we would bring him back to her and make him one of the messengers. The people of Pharaoh plucked him from the river, fearing he might be an enemy and cause regret, for Pharaoh and Haman were sinners. The Pharaoh's wife said, "He is a joy to me, and Pharaoh, so do not kill him. Maybe he will benefit us, or we may adopt him as a son." They were not aware. Moses' mother missed him, so he strengthened her heart right before she was about to reveal him to Pharaoh, so she would remain faithful. Moses' mother asked his sister to follow him, so she secretly kept an eye on him without Pharaoh noticing. Then we made Moses refuse to suckle, so his sister could tell the Pharaoh's nurses that she knew a good family that could nourish him and care for him. In this way, we restored Moses to his mother, so she wouldn't weep or grieve, and so that she would see that God's promises are true, but most of mankind doesn't understand. When Moses reached adulthood, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. We reward those who do good. One day Moses entered the city when people were distracted and came upon two men fighting. One was a follower of Moses and the other an enemy. His co-religionist asked for help, so Moses struck the enemy with his fist and killed him. He said, "This was Satan's doing, for the man was an enemy and he misled people." Moses prayed, "My Lord, I have sinned. Do you forgive me?" So he forgave him, for he is forgiving and merciful. He said, "My Lord, because you have bestowed grace on me, I will never help any sinners." Moses was in the city at dawn being watchful, and again he saw the man who had asked for his help, and he was asking yet again. Moses told him he must be very, very quarrelsome. As he prepared to strike the man who was an enemy to them both, he spoke, "Moses, do you intend to kill me like you killed the man yesterday? Do you plan on becoming a tyrant in this place and not a reformer?" Just then a man came running from the edge of the city and yelled to Moses that the chiefs were talking about killing Moses. "Run away from here. I am trying to help you." Moses ran from there, and in a state of fear he prayed, "Lord, please save me from the unjust people." When Moses stood facing Midian, he prayed, "Lord, maybe you can show me the right path." When he arrived at the watering hole in Midian, he found a group of men watering their flocks and two women standing back with their flock. Moses asked what they were doing, and the women said, "We cannot water our flock until the shepherds move away from the water." They also mentioned that their father was very old. Moses watered the flock for the women. Upon returning to the shade, he prayed, "Lord, I am in need of whatever goodness you might send me." Later, one of the women came walking bashfully towards him and said, "My father wants to reward you for watering our flock for us." When Moses went to the man and recounted his story, the man said, "Don't be afraid. You have escaped the unjust people." One of the daughters suggested he hire Moses because he was strong and faithful. The father said he intended for Moses to marry one of his daughters in exchange for him working there 8 years, 10 if possible. The father said he would not be too hard on Moses and that if God wills it, he would be found righteous. Moses considered the agreement to be sound and asked that he be treated well regardless of which option he chose. As with God as his witness, he would agree. After fulfilling his promise, Moses was traveling with his family when he saw a distant fire by a mountain. He told his family to wait while he went to the fire to get information or a coal to start a warming fire. Nearing the fire, Moses heard a voice from the valley coming from a tree. "Moses, I am God, Lord of the worlds. Throw down your staff." Moses watched it start to move like a snake and he retreated. "Moses, come closer and don't be afraid. You are one of the people that is safe." Then his voice told him to put his hand in his cloak and pull it out, and it would turn white but not hurt. "These will be 2 signs from the Lord to show Pharaoh and his chiefs who are rebellious and evil." Moses told the Lord that he had killed a man in that city, and he feared being killed in return. He suggested the Lord send his brother Aaron along with him to strengthen him. This is a little bit of a different story than earlier. For he could speak well. He feared they would accuse him of lying. He said, "We will make you stronger by sending your brother too, and giving you both authority No, he told him he suggested Aaron. He sent them both. Okay. Giving you both authority so they can't touch you. With our 2 signs, you and anyone that follows you will be victorious. Pharaoh was not impressed by Moses and the signs and claimed it was fake magic that no ancestor knew of either. Moses told them, "My Lord knows best who speaks his guidance and who will enter heaven. The unjust will not be successful." Pharaoh said sarcastically to his chiefs that he had heard of no god to be worshipped besides himself, and asked them to build a brick tower so he could go look at Moses' God. I think they are liars. Pharaoh was arrogant and insolent. We thought he and his people would not have to return to us, so we seized him and his hosts and cast them in the sea. That is the ending for the unjust. We made them leaders in hell that invite people into the fire. On Judgment Day, they will find no help, and on earth we curse them. On the day of judgment, they will be hated. Of course, we revealed the book to Moses only after we destroyed previous generations, to serve as a reminder to mankind, to prove guidance, and to be a mercy so they might reflect. You weren't there on the mount when we revealed the commandments to Moses. After a passage of time, you were also not there in Midian, revealing our signs to them. But we continued to send messengers to men. You were not there on the side of the mountain when we called to Moses. But we have sent you as mercy from your Lord to warn people that have not heard the message before, so that they may be warned. If we didn't send you to these people, and a disaster had struck them for their deeds, they might say, "Lord, why didn't you send us a messenger? We would have listened and been among the faithful." But now, when the truth has come from us, they say, "Why hasn't the messenger been given what Moses was given?" But people didn't believe Moses either. They said he was a magician and a liar. So say to them, "Bring me a book from God better than the Torah and the Quran, and I will follow that guidance, if you are telling the truth." If you don't respond to your request, then know that they only follow their desires. Who is more unjust than someone that follows his own desires without any guidance from God? God does not guide the evil men. Now we have revealed the word to them so they may choose to take warning. Those people we previously sent the book before this Quran believe in the Quran. When the Quran is recited to them, they say, "We believe in it because it's the truth from our Lord. We were Muslims before the Quran was revealed." Those who have the patience to repel evil with goodness and give charity will be given twice their reward. When they hear useless talk, they avoid it, saying, "Our deeds belong to us and yours to you. Peace be upon you," but we do not associate with the ignorant. You will not be able to guide everyone you want to, but remember that God guides those he will and knows very well those who do receive guidance. When they ask, "If we follow this guidance with you, then will we have to leave our lands?" We have established a secure life for them, where produce of all kinds is traded. This is provided by us, but most do not understand. How many populations have we destroyed because the people took excessive pride in their life of ease and were thankless? Now in those empty lands live a miserable few, and we are the inheritors. But never did your Lord destroy a population until he had sent them a messenger to recite our revelations. Never did we destroy a place unless the people were unjust. The material items of this world have been given to you as a comfort and an ornament. What you will find with God is better and eternal. Have you no sense? Are these two the same? Is the person we made a promise of paradise to in the afterlife and the person whom we gave nice things to in this life, but found out on Judgment Day that he would be punished equal? On that day, God will call out, "Where are my so-called partners that you imagined I have?" To those that will be proved guilty of the charge of polytheism, we will hear, "Lord, these are the people we led astray just as we were led astray ourselves. We declare we are innocent because they weren't worshiping us." It will be said to them, "Call upon your partner gods of God for help." No one will answer them, and they will see the penalty of doom, and they will wish they had listened to the guidance and followed the right path. On that day, we will call out, 'What did you say to my messengers?' None of the doomed will hear any good tidings that day, and they won't ask each other for them. But anyone that has repented, been faithful, and done righteous work will have the hope of achieving salvation. The Lord can create and choose as He wishes. No other has a choice. Glory to God. He is more noble than the partners they associate with Him. He knows everything that is secret and public. He is God, and there is no God besides Him. Give Him praise in this life and the next. He sits in judgment, and everything is brought back to Him. Ask, if God were to make the night last until the judgment day, what other God is there that can bring out the light? Why won't you understand? Ask, if God were to make the day last until judgment day, what other God is there that can give you darkness so that you can rest? Why won't you understand? Out of His mercy, He made you night and day, so you may rest and also see His grace and then give thanks. On the day He will call to them and say, 'Where are my partners that you pretend existed?' And we will draw a witness from each group of people and say, 'Bring us your witness.' Then they will all know the truth. The truth is God's alone, and the lies they told will have failed them. Korah was one of Moses' people, but Korah rebelled against them. We gave him so much treasure that even a company of strong men couldn't carry it. His people said to him, 'Do not rejoice over treasure, for God does not love those who rejoice. Use the means that God has given you to seek a home in the hereafter. Don't be corrupt, because God hates the corrupt.' Korah said, 'God gave me this because of the knowledge I possess.' Didn't he know about all the generations God had destroyed before him who were even stronger and richer? The guilty will not even be asked about their sins." So Korah went among his people, dressed in his fine clothes. Those who worried about life on earth said, "If we only could have what Korah has. He has been very fortunate." Those who were truly knowledgeable said, "Woe unto you, Korah, for the best rewards in the hereafter are for the people that are faithful and do good acts, and only the patient will receive it." Then we made the earth swallow him and his home. He had no one to help him against God and could not defend himself. Those who had envied him before then said, "Clearly it is God that controls who gets rich and who loses wealth. If God had not been gracious to us, He would have made the earth swallow us too. Those who reject God will never prosper. We will give the home in the hereafter to those who were not arrogant or corrupt. The good eternity is for the righteous. Those who did good works will be rewarded better than they gave, but those who did evil will only be punished in equal measure for their actions. He who gave you the Quran will bring you back to home. Say, 'My Lord knows best who gives true guidance and who is lying.' You did not expect the book would be sent to you, but it is mercy from your Lord. So never help anyone that rejects God. Never let anything stop you from sharing the revelations that God has sent you. Continue to call men to faith in God, and do not associate with those who associate other gods with God. Never call upon any God besides God. There is no God but He. Everything will disappear but His face. He reserves judgment on all, and to Him you will be resurrected.